So you're interested in purchasing the all-new 2025 Cadillac Optiq fully electric luxury compact SUV from General Motors, but might also be curious about how it stacks up against its platform mate, the Chevy Equinox EV, specifically in its more fully equipped RS trim levels. Well, here in today's video, I've compiled a list of similarities and differences between each of these two models in terms of their features, options, packaging, and pricing. And just to give you guys a little bit of a hint, once you start to check some of these option packages and boxes on the Equinox EV RS, it starts to make less and less sense as to why you might want to choose that vehicle versus the upcoming Cadillac Optiq, just due to its overall pricing and some of the limitations in terms of what features and options are offered on that vehicle versus standard or optional equipment on the Cadillac Optiq. So make sure you guys buckle up, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of helpful, useful information here in today's video. Without further ado, let's not waste time and get right into it. So as usual, I want to put a disclaimer here at the beginning of this video, and that I use the GM Fleet Order Guide as well as the pricing information as well as the Chevy and Cadillac websites to compile all of this information for you guys. If you believe anything is incorrect, just need additional clarification, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section. I will do my best to answer them or get the information that you are looking for in terms of, what your question is regarding. But I highly encourage you guys to use each of these manufacturers' websites, both Chevy as well as Cadillac, to build and price each of these two vehicles, kind of play around with different specifications and gain a better understanding of exactly what each of these two vehicles offer for a given price point. So before we get into take a look at the standard equipment across every Equinox EV RS or Optiq Luxury One, I want to touch on the Optiq's trim lineup. So Cadillac has packaged this vehicle very simply, and that comes in Luxury 1, Luxury 2, Sport 1, Sport 2, and the only difference between Luxury 1 and Sport 1, for example, is going to be mostly cosmetic and appearance differences, where the main options and features are going to differ is in the 1 and 2 in each of these two respective, trims, if you will. So Luxury 1, Luxury 2 is going to be the main, equipment differences, as in, Sport 1 and Sport 2. We're on the Equinox EV RS side of things. Not only can you get front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, number one, but there's going to be a number of option packages that you can equip on that vehicle. So there's going to be a much larger pricing spread on the Equinox side of things versus that of the Optiq, given all-wheel drive is standard equipment, and a lot of the other features are also going to be standard, even in an entry-level Luxury One. So just want to put that out there before we get into taking a look at the standard equipment and then some of the additional pricing and packaging later in this video. So again, standard features on every Equinox EV RS and Optiq is going to be adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist with lane departure warning, blind zone steering assist, side bicyclist alert, automatic emergency braking, intersection emergency braking, reverse automatic braking, rear pedestrian alert, traffic sign recognition, and safety alert seat. So those are going to be the driver assistance, some of the safety technologies. Moving on to the interior, we're going to have Google integration built in, Sirius XM capability, OnStar with connected services capable, HD surround view camera system, Wi-Fi hotspot, digital instrument cluster, keyless open start, remote start, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, power driver seat with lumbar adjustment, although there is going to be some differences in the amount of adjustability, auto sense hands-free power liftgate, USB-C charging in the front and second rows, LED headlights, LED taillights, wireless charging, and I believe vehicle to home capability is also going to be standard on each of these two vehicles, given they ride on very similar platforms. However, I have not seen any announcements from General Motors on Chevy's side of things that stating that is actually active in Equinox EV, Blazer EV, etc. Where actually on Cadillac's website, it does list it as the Optiq as coming with that as standard equipment. So I can only assume that that is going to be active at the time of purchase on that vehicle, where it may require a software update for the Chevy side of vehicles that are currently out to the public. So do keep that, in the back of your mind. Looking at each of these two, is supposedly the Equinox might support this functionality, but as of this time, I cannot confirm that. Now, next up, I want to move into the Optiq Luxury or Sport 1 standard equipment over that of the Equinox RS. So any Optiq is going to come with these next features, and I put in parentheses either optional, what package that comes on the Equinox RS, or whether or not it's available at all. So on the right side of each feature is going to be the availability on the Equinox EV RS, for example. So every Optiq is going to come with Super Cruise as standard for 3 years, of course. That is optional on the Equinox. All-wheel drive powertrain, dual level charge cord, and a fixed glass roof. All of those things are going to be optional on the Equinox. Now, it is important to note that the Optiq only comes with the fixed glass roof with power sunshade, where the Equinox, if you choose the panoramic sunroof, does actually have an open, retractable sunroof, also with a power sunshade. Moving on, we have a dual zone climate control, synthetic seating surfaces, heated wiper park, illuminated grille, universal home remote, and rear digital camera mirror. These are all going to be found in Convenience Package 2 on the Equinox EV RS. Then finally, we have the 19-speaker AKG audio system with Dolby Atmos, 33-inch advanced digital display, 9K resolution from what Cadillac states, audio, exterior, video, sound. Interesting one there. We'll touch on that here in a second. 110-volt power outlet in the second row, illuminated door handles, power folding, driver's side dimming, exterior mirrors, rain sense wipers, and massaging front seats. All of those features in that last category are not available at all on the Chevy Equinox as of this time. Now, when it comes to the audio, exterior, video, sound, I was not able to find any details on this, but it was listed in the order guide. This could be a speaker that provides sound to the exterior of the vehicle. It could be microphones that capture audio for the HD surround vision camera system, which is cloud enabled on certain configurations of the Optiq. So it could be something to do with that, but overall wasn't listed on the Equinox, is listed on the order guide for the Optiq. Now moving on to the Luxury 2 or Sport 2 trim levels of the Cadillac Optiq, and how it stacks up to the Equinox RS packaging. First up, you have the rear cargo cover. Believe it or not, that's standard on the Equinox EV RS to my knowledge. That comes with the 2 version of the Optiq. Ventilated front seats, heated second row seats, 8-way power passenger seat with lumbar adjustment, heads-up display, up-level LED lighting with animated exterior lighting, memory passenger seat, automatic leveling headlamps, and air quality indicator inside of the vehicle. So as you can see, there's ranges from standard for the cargo cover, Convenience Package 2 on the Equinox EV RS, or again, a few options that are not available at all on the Equinox EV RS at the bottom of that list. So for example, if you wanted, ventilated front seats or heads-up display, you can get that on the Equinox. You just have to check the Convenience Package 2, and you do have to opt for the higher trim level or the more well-equipped Cadillac Optiq. You can't just get the entry-level base model for those few features. Now, moving on to optional features on both the Optiq and the Equinox EV RS, there's going to be one main option, and that is going to be the 19.2 kilowatt onboard charging module for level 2 charging. Now, there is a small caveat to this, is it's a standalone option on the Optiq, either on, Luxury 1 or Luxury 2. But if you want this feature on the Equinox EV RS, for example, you have to get a fully loaded all-wheel drive model, including sunroof, Super Cruise, Convenience 2, etc. So basically, you have to check every single option package to have the ability to choose this option group on the Equinox, where it's basically just one option box on the Optiq, regardless of how other option groups that you choose. Now moving on to the piece of the pie that I think is one of the most fascinating and interesting aspects of this whole comparison, and that is the pricing information. So all of this is 2025 pricing, including destination. So starting out with the Equinox EV RS front wheel drive, this is going to start at $44,795. All-wheel drive will be quite hefty at $48,095, about a $3,300 option for all-wheel drive alone. And then some of the option packages and the costs of these is going to be the dual level charge cord is $295 by itself. Convenience Package 2 is $3,095. Active Safety Package 3, which is Super Cruise, is $3,355. Panoramic sunroof is $1,500. And of course, you have the 19.2 kilowatt onboard charging module for $1,295, which means a fully loaded Equinox EV RS all-wheel drive without the 19.2 kilowatt onboard charging, but every other option is going to be $56,340. And if you add that charging module in, it will be $57,635. So quite expensive, as you can see. But moving on to the Optiq pricing, as we know, all-wheel drive is standard. We have the Optiq Luxury 1 all-wheel drive will be $54,390. Luxury 2 will be $56,590. And then the Sport will have a slight premium of about $500 over that of the luxury trim levels for those cosmetic appearance changes. So you have a Sport 1 all-wheel drive is $53,990, and a Sport 2 will be $57,090, with the 19.2 kilowatt onboard charging module coming in at a price tag of $1,580, which brings a fully loaded Optiq Luxury 2 all-wheel drive without the module to $56,590, or with the module at $58,170. And when you compare the actual price difference from an Equinox EV RS and an Optiq Luxury 2, again, a loaded Optiq, this difference is going to be like $300 or less. Crazy, I know, but $300 to $500 of a price differential, depending on if you get the 19.2 kilowatt module, charging module, is quite insane to me, given what you're getting in the Cadillac Optiq over that of the Chevy Equinox. Now, I have quite a bit of time and hands-on experience with the Equinox thus far. Not too much time behind the wheel of it, but I do know there's a lot of aspects about the Equinox that are nice, but there's also a handful of things that I absolutely don't understand why GM did, such as not offering premium audio inside the vehicle and things like that. There's just some weird packaging decision-making that I don't understand, and unfortunately, that is some of the reason as to why I think the Cadillac Optiq seems like a relatively good deal, as long as you're okay with the charging, range, battery performance, all of the EV, performance of the vehicle, given the two platforms and chassis are going to be very, very similar. But the Cadillac does get some improvements on this, specifically in suspension tuning, NVH improvements, and just overall design aesthetics. I think the Cadillac looks, way better in that regard. Not to mention the color combinations, the interior materials, things like that are likely going to be, significantly higher quality and are upgraded from that of the Chevy side of things. Ultimately, you guys will have to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on this one. Do you agree or disagree that the Optiq seems like a pretty decent value proposition compared to the Chevy Equinox lineup? And just to throw the Blazer EV in the mix, because I'm sure some of you guys are interested about that, a Blazer EV RS all-wheel drive for 2025 with Super Cruise Edition and the panoramic power sunroof and the driver convenience package is going to be $60,440, including destination. So sure, the Blazer is going to be a slightly larger vehicle, obviously in line with the Cadillac Lyriq, but a Blazer EV RS all-wheel drive, more expensive than that of the Optiq. And sure, you could compare the rear-wheel drive Blazer RS, I guess, in there, throw that in the mix. Similar, around $61,000 price point, getting the premium audio system, getting a more powerful electric rear-wheel drive type of vehicle versus the front-wheel drive bias that the Optiq, Equinox, and all-wheel drive Blazers have. But man, I think even though the Optiq suffers from the exact same EV platform limitations as Equinox, Blazer, Lyriq, things like that, charge speed's going to be 150 kilowatts, range right around 300 miles. Horsepower, decent, 300 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque. Again, front-wheel drive biased. I think the luxury and driving experience, from what I've heard from owners of the Ultium platform vehicles, is it's really enjoyable. So given the suspension tweaks, the damper design, for the Cadillac side of things, again, I think this could turn out to be quite the luxurious experience. But we will have to wait and see once these vehicles start to arrive on dealership lots. And of course, GM has the media drive event to see what other journalists might think of the Optiq versus other vehicles within the lineup. But I wanted to get this video out for you guys that might be cross-shopping each of these two vehicles, because Optiqs are in transit on their way to dealership lots. And I assume these vehicles might have the option to qualify for the federal tax credit as well, just like on the Chevy side of things. But we will have to exactly wait and see on that. But overall, like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down in the comment section below, given the vehicles can be equipped to an extremely similar price point, but you're clearly getting substantially more vehicle in the Cadillac versus that of the Equinox. So let me know that down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video and or found something helpful, hit that like button below, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some other comparisons I have already posted here on the channel of Equinox versus Blazer EV, road trip with the Blazer EV, Silverado EV, etc. I do have a lot of content here on the channel already posted from last year. And with that, all that being said, I appreciate the support and hope to see you guys in the next one.